Day 9 Word of God Daniel chapter 6 verse 16. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. The book of Daniel is set during the Babylonian exile when the Israelites were taken captive by the Babylonians. Daniel, a faithful servant of God, rose to a high position in the Babylonian court due to his wisdom and the favor of God. However, in Daniel 6, after the Medes and Persians took over Babylon, some officials, out of jealousy, plotted against Daniel. They convinced King Darius to issue a decree that no one could pray to any god or man except the king for 30 days. Daniel, remaining faithful to his God, continued his daily prayers. As a result, he was accused of breaking the decree and, despite the king's reluctance, was thrown into the den of lions. Daniel chapter 6 verse 16 records the moment when King Darius gives the command to throw Daniel into the lion's den, but also expresses a hope that Daniel's God would deliver him. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Depicts the execution of the unjust decree. The den of lions was intended to be a place of certain death, and being cast into it meant facing a dire, seemingly impossible situation. This action was a result of Daniel's unwavering commitment to his faith and to God, even in the face of deadly consequences. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Reveals the king's reluctant hope for Daniel's deliverance. Although Darius was bound by his decree, he had seen the faithfulness of Daniel and knew of the power of Daniel's God. The king's statement, Thy God whom thou servest continually, recognizes Daniel's consistent devotion and suggests that even Darius believed there was a possibility for divine intervention. Similar to Daniel's situation, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow to King Nebuchadnezzar's golden image and were thrown into a fiery furnace. God delivered them from the fire, demonstrating his power to save those who trust in him. Daniel chapter 3 verse 17-27. Throughout 1 Samuel, King Saul sought to kill David out of jealousy. Despite numerous attempts on his life, David was repeatedly delivered by God, highlighting God's faithfulness to protect his servants. 1 Samuel chapter 23-24. In Acts 12, Peter was imprisoned by King Herod, but an angel of the Lord miraculously delivered him from prison, showing that God's power to rescue his faithful servants extends to every circumstance. Acts chapter 12 verse 6-11. In 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 17-18, Paul speaks of being rescued from the lion's mouth, likely metaphorical for facing certain death, and expresses confidence that the Lord will deliver him from every evil attack. For believers today, Daniel chapter 6 verse 16 is a powerful reminder of God's ability to deliver his people from seemingly impossible situations. It encourages us to remain steadfast in our faith, even when facing severe trials or opposition. This verse challenges us to trust that God is sovereign and capable of delivering us, no matter the circumstances we find ourselves in. Daniel's unwavering devotion to God, even when faced with death, serves as a powerful example of faithfulness and courage for all believers. This verse also invites us to witness to the world around us through our faithfulness. King Darius, a pagan king, came to recognize the power of Daniel's God because of Daniel's steadfast faith. In a world that often challenges or opposes faith, Daniel chapter 6 verse 16 encourages us to stand firm, knowing that our testimony can impact others and bring them closer to God. Ultimately, it calls us to trust in God's deliverance and to know that He is with us, even in the lion's dens of our lives. God bless you and give you grace after grace.